Gun control is an extremely controversial topic in the USA. With the rise of mass shootings, differing opinions about gun regulation and how to deal with gun violence have become much more prominent in our world. Opinions about gun violence range from anti-gun control beliefs, where individuals believe that there should be less restrictions on guns and people owning guns, and pro-gun control beliefs, where individuals believe that there should be more restrictions on guns and people owning guns. Most anti-gun control and pro-gun control arguments emphasize the ethics of happiness. One of the most debated aspects of gun control is which kinds of guns should people be allowed to have. Most people who hold pro-gun control beliefs have the opinion that individuals shouldn't be allowed to own super powerful guns such as assault rifles, sniper rifles, and machine guns because they believe that preventing people from owning these types of guns will make society less dangerous and will decrease the number of people killed by violent offenders. This pro-gun control opinion emphasizes the ethics of happiness because this opinion aims to save lives, which reduces suffering and increases people's well-being, which makes people happier. Page 132 of the 21st Century Ethical Toolbox claims, "The ethics of happiness challenges us to achieve the greatest balance of happiness, well-being, satisfaction, and pleasure over suffering." People who do want super powerful guns to be banned reflect this quote because they are trying to reduce suffering. John Stuart Mill is an extremely important philosopher when it comes to the ethics of happiness because he, according to page 136 of the 21st Century Ethical Toolbox, is honored today as a founder of utilitarianism. On page 136, Mill claimed that actions are right in proportion as they tend to promote happiness, wrong as they tend to produce the reverse of happiness. Individuals who hold pro-gun control views and who want to ban powerful firearms are trying to promote the most happiness by saving lives. On the contrary, people who hold anti-gun control beliefs believe that individuals should be allowed to own super powerful guns such as assault rifles, sniper rifles, and machine guns because they believe that owning these types of guns can save people's lives because owning powerful weapons makes it easier to defend oneself from dangerous threats such as home invaders, corrupt governments, or an invading military, and therefore saves more people's lives in the long run. This opinion also emphasizes the ethics of happiness because this anti-gun control opinion aims to save lives, which reduces suffering and increases people's well-being, which makes people happier. Another one of the biggest anti-gun control arguments is that the right to own firearms shouldn't be taken away just because some gun owners are dangerous and irresponsible. This opinion emphasizes the ethics of the person. This anti-gun control argument is representative of the idea that each person is unique and should be treated based on the actions he or she takes, not the actions of another person. The 21st Century Ethical Toolbox on page 100 claims that the ethics of the person affirms that persons are special, precious, and have a dignity that demands respect. By saying that all people shouldn't have their guns taken away because of some bad individuals, you are really saying that everyone is special, precious, and should be judged by their own actions. Immanuel Kant, an important figure in the development of modern philosophy, is relevant to the moral family of ethics of the person because he supports the idea that people should be judged individually. By saying that all people shouldn't have their guns taken away from them because some people have used guns to be violent, you are really saying that people should be judged individually. The opposite of this opinion would be a pro-gun control argument that argues for prohibiting everyone from owning firearms, which emphasizes saving everybody over an individual's right to own guns. This represents the ethics of happiness because this opinion emphasizes people's safety, which increases happiness over an individual's right to own guns. One of the most prominent anti-gun control opinions is that the right to own guns shouldn't be infringed upon because people use guns to go sport shooting and hunting. This reflects the ethics of happiness because this view implies that the happiness that is created from sport shooting and hunting is so high that firearms shouldn't be taken away from the public. John Stuart Mill said, "The main constituents of a satisfied life appear to be two, either of which by itself is often found sufficient for the purpose, tranquility and excitement." People who hold the opinion that the right to own firearms shouldn't be taken away because people enjoy sport shooting and hunting have this opinion because they believe that sport shooting and hunting provides tranquility and excitement. The opposite of this opinion is the pro-gun control belief that guns should still be banned because the amount of happiness that comes from sport shooting and hunting isn't enough to prevent guns from being banned. This opinion still reflects the ethics of happiness. However, the person who holds this pro-gun control belief thinks that the happiness that comes from sport shooting and hunting isn't enough to offset the negative consequences of a society being allowed to own firearms, such as criminals being armed in mass shootings, and therefore should be banned from the general public. Some individuals who hold anti-gun control beliefs believe that the right to own guns shouldn't be restricted because it is their obligation to protect their families from harm, which can be accomplished by using guns. This opinion on gun rights reflects the ethics of relationships. According to page 197 of the Ethical Toolbox, the ethics of relationship encompasses those moral values concerned with our connections to others, from families to larger human communities. Stating that gun rights shouldn't be restricted because it is a person's obligation to protect their family encompasses the moral values concerned with a person's connection to their family. Nell Noddings, an American philosopher who wrote many books which amplified the concept of the ethics of relationship, once said, "Human caring and the memory of caring and being cared for, which I shall argue form the foundation of ethical response." A person saying that the right to own guns shouldn't be restricted because it is their obligation to protect their families is an ethical response based on human caring and the memory of caring and being cared for. The opposite of this pro-gun control opinion would be the belief that it is a person's moral obligation to protect their family by restricting the sale of guns so dangerous people don't have access to firearms. This also represents the ethics of relationships because this opinion emphasizes the idea that a person is responsible for the safety of their family due to the connection that one has to their family.